On Wednesday, aggressive foreigners behind a border barrier attacked Polish servicemen several times. The migrants had dangerous objects and tools with them, which they threw in the direction of the soldiers.
Migranci rzucali niebezpiecznymi przedmiotami
The migrants threw dangerous tools in the direction of Polish servicemen. Both soldiers received blows to the face and required medical intervention, and these wounds were stitched up. Migrants tried to work as a group. In this case, it was a group of nearly 10 people.
forsować w grupie. W tym wypadku to też była grupa blisko 10-osobowa osób.
The soldiers' health is not in danger and they have left the hospital. However, there was a much more dangerous incident on Tuesday. A group of 50 migrants tried to force their way across the border. They were so aggressive that they injured 3 officers. One is fighting for his life. Attempts to destabilize the state. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who on Wednesday arrived in Dubice Cerkiewne, where the tragic attack took place, announced that a buffer zone would be introduced on the border with Belarus. The Law and Justice Party recalls that provisions for such a zone were adopted under the United Right government. How did the Civic Platform vote then? Against. Therefore, the President of Law and Justice called on the government and Prime Minister Donald Tusk to take decisive action so that such events are not repeated. It is about decisive action and action that will be effective. And I say right away here that it is not about using weapons in any cases. There are other ways to keep those who attack at an appropriate distance. Poland is facing more threats to the country's security and stability. At 2 p.m. and 2:20 p.m. local time, a dispatch appeared in the Polish press agency, reporting that Prime Minister Donald Tusk was announcing the partial military mobilization of Polish citizens to Ukraine. It was certainly intended to cause panic in the country. It was retracted and the Polish press agency reported that it was not its source.
Być może, że to jest fake zrobiony przez
Perhaps this was fake news made by some groups hostile to Poland, most likely Russian or Belarusian. But there is also a question about the entire state mechanism, which includes institutions of an informational nature. They are very important, which has been trashed irresponsibly and illegally by the current government. What happened is such a good example of this kind of situation, and thus it should be further looked into. It is worth noting that the information about the attack on Polish soldiers for 2 days was completely hushed up by those in power, and the situation occurred on the same day that the Prime Minister was on the border in Dubice Cerkiewne. And how is it going? Are you okay today? Today was okay, but at night it was not good. Here at night? And what did they try? Another soldier had his face injured. Why didn't Prime Minister Donald Tusk inform the public about another attack on the Polish-Belarusian border? Holding back such information so as not to disrupt Donald Tusk's visit is a scandal. Donald Tusk has completely changed the narrative on migrants. At the beginning of the artificially created crisis on the Polish-Belarusian border, he talked about poor people. These are poor people who are looking for their place on Earth. The coordinator of the construction of the wall under the United Right government, Maciej Wąsik, points out that those in power and the mainstream media should apologize today to those defending our borders.
Przypisywali Straży Granicznej.
They attributed the border guard to dishonoring the uniform, the same for the military, when they said they were acting like Hitlerites, because indeed, the mainstream said such things. When the movie Green Border was filmed, Donald Tusk applauded it.
Tusk klaskał na tym filmie.
The situation is unsettled, not only at the border. Residents of the border municipalities and counties fear for their lives and possessions.
Strach jest, dlatego że
The fear is because we are running with my husband. I have always preferred to run in the woods. Now I'm afraid on my own. I myself no longer run for training in the forest near the border. For me, this is an abnormal situation that should not happen. We have never thought of such a thing, of such danger coming to us from that side.
o takim niebezpieczeństwie.
If the government does not take swift and decisive action at the border, a tragedy could occur. Especially in Dubice Cerkiewne, the situation is very bad. They call it hell because they are attacked every day. Increasing migration pressure, attempts to force the border, attacks on soldiers of the Polish army and border guard officers are actions inspired by Belarusian and Russian services. They are provocations.
Sytuacja staje się bardzo poważna.
The situation is becoming very serious, and we must be aware that the situation will grow. And this can be seen because we have information that these people who are now arriving are people who are experienced in warfare and terrorism, who are used to very extreme conditions, and they will pose a deadly threat to our officers. Donald Tusk is now talking about defending the borders and ensuring the security of Polish people. He has also changed his mind on migrants in recent days and assures that he will not agree to the Migration Pact, which he previously supported. But unfortunately, the pact was adopted, and in recent days, French politicians have admitted that migrants from Western Europe will end up in countries in the eastern part of the European Union, including Poland.
O czym my rozmawiamy?
What are we talking about? About solidarity. Today, France accepts only asylum seekers, and tomorrow, according to the past Migration Pact, Poland and Slovakia will take its share.
Również przyjmie swoją część.
This is why Law and Justice is showing what the current government's true intentions are. Today, Donald Tusk speaks beautifully about the eastern border. We are starting a great project to build a secure border. Once again, he has changed his mind, but the voters' memory is by no means short. Let's recall his earlier statements. I never said that the wall will not be built. This wall will not be built neither in a year nor in 3 years. There is no need to make such disgusting, grim propaganda targeting migrants, because these are people who need help. Łukasz Żmuda, TV Republika.